Last August, 1D&D released a playtest document called Character Origins. Along with other things, it consists of the initial draft of what are probably going to be the 9 core races of the updated version of the player's handbook. Of course, the final goal is that all races are well balanced, but I think we are not there yet. In my point of view, 5 races are very close in power, but still above the remaining 4 races. Humans, Elves, and Dwarfs were already the more powerful races in 5e and remain such in 1D&D. They are joined by Dragonborns and Orcs with the changes made on those races. Humans are still the most flexible race. The variant human from 5e received a couple of buffs. They start with inspiration after a long rest, and now they have a +2 and a +1 ability score improvements instead of 2 +1s, associated to a background, just like every other race. They can still choose 1 skill proficiency and 1 additional first level feat. Elves no longer have elf weapon training, which provided a relevant buff especially for divine classes, but none for martial classes. Instead of that, each of their 3 lineages, High Elves, Wood Elves, and Drows, now receives a pack with 1 specific trait, 1 cantrip, 1 first level spell, and 1 second level spell, tailored to reflect the flavor of each lineage. Likewise, Dwarves no longer have Dwarven armor and Dwarf combat training. Again, 2 traits that would benefit divine and arcane classes, but would bring very little to martial classes. Their 2 former subraces no longer have specific traits, and Dwarven toughness is now a common race trait. Stone Cunning provides Tremor Sense, and Dwarves also receive 2 proficiencies instead of 1. Dragonborn is one of the weakest races in 5e, as their only race trait beyond a damage resistance is their breath weapon. The problem is that the breath weapon would become too weak in higher levels. 1D&D fixes that, enhancing its damage and number of uses. It also adds Dark Vision and the Draconic language for Dragonborns. Orcs will finally be a playable race, replacing the half-orcs. 1D&D keeps the same race trait presented in Monsters of the Multiverse, with adrenaline rush and powerful build instead of savage attacks and menacing. Those changes not only make orcs more suitable for a wider choice of classes, but also increases its raw power level compared to 5e. I very much like the vast majority of changes made in the design of those 5 races. I believe they reach a roster of important goals. Their mechanics is simpler and more intuitive, they make all races more flexible to support any class builds, thus encouraging role-playing, and they reach a great power balance with each other and with their 5e versions. I believe those 5 races will serve as great benchmarks for the fine-tuning of all 1D&D race designs.